Okay, this is the start of the People's Interview number 5. I can't believe I've done 5 of these, you know.
Cool, man.
So yeah, you're after Giga D when I eventually edit the damn thing. But anyway, so much editing later.
1 second.
Yeah, sure. By Grey Fox, how you doing, bruv?
How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man.
See ya.
Gotcha. Now, I have to admit, I probably did know you way back in the day in casinos, but obviously I forgot about you because it was obviously that was like what, 12 years ago or something like that.
1997, so it was about 15 years ago.
Crap, yeah. So introduce yourself. So you run tournaments. You do stuff behind the scenes.
Oof, there's a lot to do. Okay, my name is Anthony Hanafawashi. If anyone doesn't know, a lot of people know me as Grey Fox, but I've been known as a lot of things, other things in the past. Right, how did I start? I started off in playing in 1997 in Namco Wonder Park. I just won dinner with a friend of mine, Daniel Wilson. He's a really excellent junior player. We just saw a poster because we used to play to win back then. Because back then it wasn't everyone played in Wonder Park. We played in play to win because
yeah, that was it. I think I've had this interview before with Firebug, but you could literally go in an arcade crawl, play to win. Did actually have some pretty good machines back in the day. You had 98 at one point. You actually had fighting games.
Well, it was pretty strange because we used to go there because it was close to Computer Exchange, so we just assumed
the one in Rayborn Place, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, so we just assumed that was where the games were being played. So we went there after school one time because we were just having some discussion, but went there after school and me and my friend Dan and another guy, we knew Barris, we just started playing games there. And then one of them went on holiday and they came back, and then we saw a poster as we were walking past the Wonder Park. It was a really international tournament with a lot of prize money. So we just assumed, yeah, you know, the best players playing play to win. So let's go there and take their money and, you know, go back to play to win. So we turned up there, I think, the night before, and we got hammered. I think I lost 20 games in a row to a law player called Alex Wong. He's a really good player actually, and I kind of learned the hard way that the best players were not at play to win. They were at the Wonder Park, and then from then on, it kind of sort of dovetailed from there. So I met a lot of people. I met Martin maybe in the December after that. I didn't know Martin that well. I must say like 17 or 18 then. And then after that, I just met more and more people playing Tekken. It just became like a regular thing there every week. We go and play some Tekken there, and it just grew and grew from there. It was a really, really good time for playing games, actually. And it's the time I actually really desperately miss. And there's probably not enough time to tell you all the stories and things that happened in those days, but it was brilliant times, great times. So that's sort of my background. I was sort of from that era of playing Tekken 3 and just sort of going to the Wonder Park every week.
Okay, definitely. Like I said, it's kind of funny. I might have to call this the trilogy or the quadrilogy because obviously I've covered this with Gunsmith, Giga D. Yeah, Wonder Park. It was happy times. And again, we've already covered Wonder Park. Yeah, again, there'll be links covering the previous one, but obviously it closed, and then casinos. Then
casino after that, because that's a funny thing because going back to the Wonder Park, I didn't only play Tekken. I sort of dovetailed off. When Tekken Tag came out, I was really disenchanted with it. I didn't want to play it. I thought it was a poor game, so I decided to go off and play Street Fighter Alpha 3. And I sort of met a whole other group of people playing that. And through that, we started a site called cornertrap.com. And we ran the first ranking battle in the UK on Alpha 3. Because we were actually, the first international tournament I ran, I was 18.
Oh wait,
that was Euro 3.
Hold up. Cornertrap.com was actually a UK site? Oh,
yes,
crap.
it was. You probably don't know because that's how successful it was.
No, do you know what it was? Yeah, I always thought at the time it was American.
Of course everyone did. They assumed it was American because everyone knew about Cornertrap. It was like a huge site, and we had all these like players that were like contributing to it. It was absolutely massive at one point. And so I ran that with a guy called Hollis Wong and Daniel Wilson and Rayhan and the other guy called V Ryu, who plays Makoto now on Super. There's an interesting story about that actually when I first met him in France. When I met all those guys and we sort of got together and we went this site and we ran a ranking battle because after Euro 3, which is the first tournament sort of, well, it wasn't the first international tournament because the first one was actually the first Euros, and I was 18 at the time, and I had players from like Denmark and France, and that just dovetailed from just a chance thing because we used to meet, 8 of us used to meet.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume that's 1998.
99 actually.
Ah, okay.
99, that was in County Hall, because what happened was 8 of us used to meet. It was like the 8 kings of Tekken 3. It was like
the 8 kings of Tekken 3.
Like,
okay, this will be interesting.
Harry, Martin, Daniel, Ryan, Rayhan, or others. Good players as well. Amraj and Wing.
Okay.
And just sometimes we'd meet in County Hall and we'd play Tekken every week, and it sort of grew from that.
Wait, hold on, back up. County Hall actually had fighting games?
It did. All the machines from Wonder Park, when it closed, actually went to County Hall.
Oh yeah. Sorry, memory lapse. I remembered Marty telling me that last month. Yeah.
This is why I first met Starscream and Gordon, actually. There's a funny story about
shout out
those
to Gordon.
two.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in ages.
But the funny story about those two is I met Gordon because a friend of mine went to an art college. He didn't know Gordon at all. But what happened was, my friend was saying, "Oh look, I've got all these mates that play Tekken, they're amazing." And Gordon said, "No, I'm really good at Tekken." And my friend said, "All right, and come down and play him." And then Gordon and Nezzy came down to County Hall, and that's when they first played our group. That's when they first played me, Martin, Dan, Harry, Amraj, and Wing. That's when they first played us. So that's when the two groups started to merge.
Okay, so I've got the timeline. So this is the period in between, obviously, Wonder Park closing down, and obviously you eventually got back. You got to Casino when they started having Tekken games there.
Not really. I never liked Casino because I just thought it was an arcade of poor repair. I mean,
yeah. Let's be honest. I think I've said this in all the other interviews. Bloody, I'm refreshed myself. Yeah, it was a crap arcade then. It's a crap arcade now. But the only reason why we ever went there was because of the people.
I wouldn't say a crap arcade. It was just kept in a bad state. You have to remember, we were used to like a lot of good treatment at Wonder Park.
Yeah, i.e. if something went wrong, somebody would come along and replace the button.
Victor would come and fix it, or Harry would come and fix it, or someone would come and fix it. But those days are well and truly gone. So that's when the two groups merged, and that's when I first met Ezzy and Gordon. A lot of these new guys that play tag, and to me they were like completely new. So like we were like 18, hosting international tournaments, people coming over.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And then from there, obviously, the infamous incident where I almost got run over by a bus.
I remember that quite vividly that night. Actually.
Oh yeah, okay. You were there because that's actually kind of weird. Because I'm thinking, okay, damn, I do remember you then, because obviously there was a crowd of people.
No, I was the one that stopped the bus.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I didn't actually see you get hit by the bus or hit, but Gordon told me that someone had been hit.
Yeah.
So I stopped the bus and I said, look, you've obviously hit someone, and the bus driver was sort of like, it was sort of non-plausible about the whole thing. So I basically made sure he stopped the bus to see. I didn't know it was actually you until later when we got into Martin's house, and Jonathan told me. Yeah. Do you remember Jonathan Lionheart? Plays for RPGs. Good fellow as well. He told me that it was you. So it was I think it was a real close call, to be honest with you, man. Like, I could easily be sitting here today talking about one of the most horrible things I've ever seen in my life.
Like I said, yeah, so I know, in a parallel universe, well, the stream, which literally it wouldn't be, well, the event would still go on, but this probably would be, well, it would be streamed by you, of course, but anyway.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I do remember that night quite vividly, actually. I remember stopping the bus driver. The bus driver is pretty sort of, he didn't seem to care. I think that's one thing that really, that kind of bothered me, actually. But yeah, it was Gordon that told me to stop him, and I remember that quite vividly, actually. I remember you were quite... You're quite shook up about it in Martin's house.
Well, yeah, remember. Literally my head was near the wheel arches if I didn't move out of the way. And well, obviously all that got out was my wheel was bent, and I looked bloody funny walking home with a broken wheel home. But anyway, getting back. So tell us, because obviously we've already covered the Tekken games and all that, but I'm more curious about the tournament running aspect. Is it?
That leads more into Corner Trap because
gotcha.
That was when I suppose after the Euro 3, which is with Dex Chief and Slacker in Birmingham, we spoke to a Japanese player called Jin, who used to come to Casino. He told us about a ranking battle that used to happen where the Japanese players would get together once a month and just have a tournament once a month. So I thought, why don't we do the same thing? So every month we get together, we'd rent the machine at County Hall on the Alpha machine, and we played. And it was, to be honest with you, probably some of the best tournaments I've ever been part of. I mean, I'm proud to say that there were, I wouldn't say great tournaments. No, people say great tournaments with the prize money and, the organisation and stuff, but it was just a good vibe to be. I mean, there are players that literally walked in off the street, entered the first tournament, and I still know them today because they're still playing the game.
Were those early tournaments the arcade machines then?
They were the arcade machines, yeah. So we just have the machine for the Sunday. Players would come from Germany, and like I said, it was so crazy.
Yeah, County Hall, right?
Yep, and it was so crazy, man. Like you said, you didn't even know Corner Chat was an English, like 100% English.
Yeah, I admit it wasn't. I just remember obviously it was hard to avoid. If you wanted to discover technology and all that, it was like, oh yeah.
There was one American guy called Neoken. If he ever gets to see this, I can't thank that guy enough, actually. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever get to see it, but if Neoken is out there and through the annals of time he gets to hear what I'm saying now, and he's probably never even heard my voice before, that's the way it was back then, I'd like to thank him for all the stuff we've done because he was amazing.
Okay.
And of course, Jimmy, Vincent, Sully, who's a Swiss player called Viryu. Again, I met him in France in 2000 when me, Rayhan, and Hollis went over to challenge him, and he happened to be 10-0 actually, which wasn't good. But again, just amazing times, and that's where I sort of got. I wouldn't say got into it, because I wouldn't say I'm someone who likes to run tournaments. I wouldn't say I enjoy it. It's quite stressful. Even now, I'm wired. I'm looking around seeing what can go wrong, where the problems might be.
No. All fair dues, because obviously I think. Well, I've never said this on interview before, but I will. Well, I've said it off interviews and forums. But I'm amazed that all the snake pits, amazingly, all the snake pits have gone really smoothly. The fact that it's not even 8 o'clock yet, and the tournament is effectively finished, and everyone is just chilling back and playing casual. That is, in the grand scheme of things, amazing.
Believe me, I think that's more accident than design. I think.
Yeah, not to put somebody on blast. We had basically a tournament last week, and pretty much everything that went wrong did go wrong.
Exactly. I think a lot of this thing's been down to good fortune rather than us being brilliant. Like, I mean, last week, just a few things went wrong. But even last week was still great, because, I mean, we did finish on time. I think people judge themselves very harshly when they run tournaments nowadays. They're like, they want Wimbledon. They want the World Cup. I mean, as long as your tournament starts, as long as it finishes, as long as you fulfill the promises set out, then you're fine. I've heard of tournaments that don't finish. That's not a tournament. That's a...
we could expose it, but let's not. But let's go back into that time frame. So you did your work with Corner Trap, and obviously I can tell you've associated with other scenes, whereas people like Gunsmith, Martin, they've only really stuck with the one scene. So
Martin came to the ranking battle as well. I mean, there was a lot of crossover. I think we were unlucky in the point that a lot of people had almost gone away from games at that point. Like, I've had people come up to me saying, "Wait a minute, that was you guys!" Like, wow. I didn't know. Even you were saying, like, oh my God, you know, it was sort of like a European thing. It was like, I think a lot of people left it and sort of, you know, I think we missed a lot of things that are happening now. So, but how that sort of ended was, there was a tournament called Absolution 2004, and I lost it, man. I think I lost my sort of, I just didn't want to be part of it anymore. So I had to sort of step back, and I did not turn up to another tournament, major one, until SVB 2010. Well, no, Battle of Destiny 2008. And that was only because Syrian was on it.
Oh yeah, you can enlighten me, because obviously I've heard about this Battle of Destiny. It was a separate tournament then. It was run at pretty much the Rocket Complex, or was it?
Pretty good. Yeah, I just before I went to Japan, Street Fighter 4 had just come out. There was a lot of positive feeling around at the time, and I think it was mainly because of Simeon, you know. I mean, to be honest, if it wasn't for Simeon or Bulletproof, I wouldn't be here now. I would not be sitting here doing these things. I'd be at home doing something else, because it was talk of Tim that sort of gave me a bit more enthusiasm about doing stuff like this. I was completely disenchanted with all of it. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to have anything to do with anyone. I just wanted to I wanted to stay well away from it. Martin as well, actually. Martin, I think those two, Martin and Simeon, were two people that really said, you know, kind of got me back into it. Because I don't think I'd even be playing Tekken now if it was for Martin saying, yeah, just, you know, give it a try, see what you feel about it. Because I tell you what, the first time I played Tekken 6 was 2010.
Pretty late.
Yeah. I went to Japan and saw people in Joybox playing like mice, you know what I mean? Like just hundreds of players streaming around playing. I think it's 50 yen a credit in Joybox.
Wow,
that is
yeah, if people don't know, you know, roughly 100 yen is a pound, so that is
100 yen's about 50 pence actually. So it's about 30
okay,
credit.
okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I went in there and it was like people just all over the place playing. So it was just, you know, that was like, if I was going to play Tekken, it would be there, and I didn't want anything to do with it. It was only in 2000, I think it was, actually, I tell you, it was a chance meeting. I went out drinking with some friends in Leicester Square, and on the way back, my phone rang, and I was wearing my red jacket, and Martin said, "I've just seen you walking down the street in Leicester Square." I'm like, okay. He said, "Come meet me in Casino." I went to Casino, and sitting there was Amraj and Wing, and we hadn't arranged to meet, but they were just there, and it was almost like fate. Like, wait a minute, 4 of the kings are sitting in the same room. Maybe we should start playing Tekken again. And I think Daniel told me, if you see them again, that means they want to fight. So I'll be saying play as well. So it all just snowballed from there.
Gotcha. Again, we should obviously move a little bit forward. And so obviously you did work with Corner Trap, and you obviously organised some tourneys and that. So about the process of actually organising a tourney, because obviously I've just noticed you've got quite a nice collection of equipment.
Well, that's just money, isn't it? Like, just going out and buying the equipment. I think only Monkey can save a bit of cash and buy equipment, I suppose. Like, but it's nice to have, you know. Like, I suppose it's useful.
Well, like I say, I think we should get onto that subject, because obviously before, we just obviously went to an arcade and said we were in a tournament, but obviously it's kind of different now because obviously...
I tell you what, one thing that really surprises me now in I don't even like using that word scene, but I suppose with what's going on now, is that people have a lot of resources. I mean, if we had these resources when we were doing it,
yeah,
I can only imagine what we could do. Like, you're getting people getting sponsored, they're getting really nice venues, they're getting given prizes and consoles. I mean, like, when we were doing it, it was literally like, you couldn't buy sponsorship for love or money. Like, Capcom did not care. I think Namco Station gave us a bottle of whiskey.
Really?
Give an 18-year-old a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, they gave us a bottle of whiskey.
Okay, exposed.
Yeah, me and Harry got lashed that night. I remember he's sitting next to me now. Remember that night, me, you, and Dan, we got hammered. It was you know what? Some of those memories are amazing. I think like we had this kid called Renick from Holland. He must have been like 15. His dad brought him to the tournament, and he said, "Yeah, like you know, you go off with these boys and like have fun." And we came back lashed, and I remember me and Harry were trying to pretend not to be drunk in front of his dad. We were just like, "Yeah, here he is. He's fine. We're not. Let's go." But it was yeah, absolutely yes. But the resources that people got is just. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point because obviously because of, well, I'll probably do a vlog to sort of point out how I got into all this. It's like, obviously, if you were to go back 2 years and tell me I would collect all this equipment and stuff, I'd say, you what, really?
If you ask me, do I want to do this though? I don't want to be doing this. I want to be playing games.
Yeah. This is a good. No, this is an excellent point that you bring. It's a case of, I think people like you and I, we are actual gamers. We obviously wanted to play the game, but as I think we've kind of discovered, the scene is not really going to make itself, is it? We actually have to go out and make the scene.
I think people will always do tournaments. I think even if, say, like, I thought, you know what, I'm going home tomorrow, I'll give away all my equipment, I'm just going to, like, you know, play games whenever I want. I think people will, there'll always be something to go to.
People will definitely always go to tournaments, but I think the important thing is that, I mean, you know, I think the controversial issues, there's a lot of people, they won't play a game simply because there's no scene for it, when obviously it's a case of, well, you actually have to go out and make the scene. You can't just expect...
I think that is so sad. I think if you love a game, you should play it like... When I go into forums, and I go into forums a lot, by the way, like, I don't post, but I do...
Yeah, I've noticed that, yeah.
I think it's so sad when players say to themselves, "Oh, I really love Vampire Savior, but no one's playing it," or "I really love Alpha 3, but no one's playing it," or "I love Tekken 3, but no one's playing it." Man, I mean, look at someone like Anil. If any of these guys played Anil at Tekken Tag tomorrow, he'd hammer them because he still plays. I mean, I think people need to play the games they enjoy playing and just like forget the rest. You know, like I'm not saying new games are bad. I think some of these new games are ace, and like when you know Street Fighter 7's out, I think Street Fighter 4 players will still want to play Street Fighter 4, and they'll probably not like that Street Fighter, but I think in the end, you know, you got to play the games that you like, you know. I think having a scene or something for a game is somewhat irrelevant. I mean, a good player will create a scene. Like, look at Street Fighter EX2. Like, when that first came out, everyone was like, yeah, I'm not so sure. Then Mem turned up in...
That was a godlike game, though.
Yeah, because Mem turned up in Mem, and you had that Chinese kid, Andrew, and you had like the other kid who actually the porn bags on the machine, like, and they just basically they were like one big advert for their game. I remember the Tekken 3 World Championship. Some of the players came to Namco after, and they saw these guys playing EX2, and they were like couldn't believe what they were seeing. So I think good play will get people, will create a scene. Creating a scene is not so much about having these tournaments and having these fancy streams and the great equipment. Good play creates a scene. A lot of players will play a game they think is interesting and fun to play if they see people exploring. Like I play Mark of the Wolves. My most played game now is Alien vs Predator, the old scrolling.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah. Oh well, yeah, the old one. You know, the Capcom side scroll is in the same vein as the Punisher, godlike game.
Yeah, good, great game. You know, just gotta, you know, as long as you're enjoying it, you gotta just enjoy it, man. I don't think it should be about, you know, there's a scene for this game. It kind of ruins it.
But yeah, getting on to the tourneys you organise, and obviously you've done work for Neo Empire as well.
Yeah, good site, really good site. I like Neo Empire. Like Simmons, just he's in the right place. You know what I mean? He does. I like how he thinks about things, and to be honest as well, a lot of the reasons why like I do things with Simeon or like, you know, help out when I can is because the guy's an amazing games player, man. Like, people do not realize how good he is at playing games.
No. I can testify. I think I even, again, I don't think I've said this in an interview on Story, but I'll mention it. It was like, obviously, it was in Casino. It was KOF 99, and it was like, obviously, you had all the Chinamen. They were like...
A game that he hated, by the way.
Not at the time, funny enough. Well, obviously I was probably a little bit later, but he bought the game nonetheless. But it was like,
are we buying any KOF that one?
No, he definitely did buy the game because he definitely was showing off the cart in the arcade, literally about.
I'm saying he'd buy any KOF. That's Simeon.
Well, actually, I remember his philosophy that he buy games that he does not have. But anyway, getting back to the story. Yeah, literally, there were like 4 Chinamen to that 99 cabinet. Obviously, he goes on the machine. Yeah, you know, the Chinamen, they're all there. The pounds are on the dashboard. You know, they're custom to show their necks. Simeon Kleisom completely obliterates and destroys the one guy. Suddenly, all those pound coins get removed, and Simeon just turns around and says, "Oh, you batty men can come and rinse my combos, but you won't play me." And then obviously, I was there at the time, and I basically said to him, "Yeah, well, they don't want to lose." And then Simeon looks me eye and says, "Well, how else are they going to get better?" And then I kind of realized, oh yeah, good point.
I mean, to be honest, like, a lot of these guys will come up to me. I don't know, they shouldn't really. They'll be like, "Oh, and like, you did this, or you did this is so great." I just think, just forget about me, mate. But to be honest, Simeon and Rizza are 2 players I sincerely bow down to, because I think, as games players, they inspired. I used to come off Tekken and watch King of Fighters. I could never play the game for love or money, but you know what, man? Just watching them was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, like I said, he is, and still definitely is a very strong Tekken player. Yeah, of course, Ryan, because yeah, I remember another incident in Casino where infamously Ryan clocked up 80 wins. I think the only person that actually knocked him off, funny enough, was Simeon.
Ryan's class act, man. Like, I mean, like I said, I think those players, like especially Sim and Rizza, those 2 were just like completely inspiring, actually. I mean, I think they were honest to God, good players, great players, in fact. Like, so I mean, if a lot of these guys, young guys, are coming to me like, "Yeah, man, this, that, and the other," like, for me, it's like, yeah, Simeon and Rizza were like, you know what, they were the original 2 kings, really. I know they might not say it, but people like Isaac as well. I mean, those guys were just top draw people, man. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that might have happened, but in the past and that. But I think for me, coming there as a 16, 17-year-old and seeing them guys playing it, and you know, games are things you become obsessed with. Like, you play them, and sometimes you think your obsession might be unhealthy, but then when you go there, you realize it's perfectly fine because there's people just as obsessed as you.
So, I'm gonna pretty much go on a limb here and say, just pretty much like me, it's not necessarily the computer games. It's not necessarily it's for the people, isn't it?
No, I can't stand the people.
You can't?
It's for the games, yeah. I mean, a
really?
lot of
You're not going to stick up for the man, so you didn't feel inspired by Sim and obviously...
No, of course. I mean, for those guys, yeah. But me coming here and doing this sort of thing now, I'd say it's more for something because it's interesting to do, and I'm really starting to enjoy it now, actually. So even as I'm looking now, someone's left the fire door open, which is scary. So I don't know if that's one of our guys.
Yeah, but the cool thing is the power didn't go off like it did at a certain event. But anyway.
True. But that's scary, so I'm going to have to inquire. Maybe because it's hot or something. Actually, I'm going to get someone to close it. Like, Mario!
Where was I now?
But tournament organising goes, there's not much to it, man. There's not much to it. You need equipment. You need a little bit of an experience, I think. I'm not going to get asked and be like, yeah, you've got to be planning this and you've got to be Stephen Hawking and Albert Einstein or whatever. I'm not going to... I don't think it's about being asked.
Yeah, like I said, I have to admit, it's kind of a difficult task because at the moment, you might have noticed GamerBase, you know, especially at the moment because I'm organising with Zero Nero, you know, sort of the KOF Wednesdays that are going to come on the 2nd and 16th. Plug.
Wow.
But it's like, obviously, it is proper overbooked because obviously on Mondays you've got the Twins doing the Strecken thing, and then on Tuesday and Thursdays that's been taken by Worstgeef, and then the Wednesdays we're obviously going to take the KOF and the Blaze Blue lot, and then on Fridays the Soul Calibur lot. So it's like there's not really a lot of venues in London, is there? Well, ready-made with...
Sorry, 1 second.
But where was I? Oh, well, that's even a good point. Even right now, you're still organising.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say what goes into a tournament is just... Like I said, I think resources and experience. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, you've got to plan this, you've got to plan that. I think what would be the best thing to do is just do it, see what went wrong, do it again.
Gotcha.
Same thing.
But like I said, yeah, we've paraphrased my question. Venues are kind of a problem because obviously...
it's massive.
Well, yeah, because obviously GamerBase is fully booked up because obviously it's a ready-made venue with all the setups you need and whatever, so people don't need to obviously transport monitors and all that stuff. The majority of tournaments at the moment have been held in, like, well, pubs and stuff. I mean, obviously, our brethren across the pond, it's pretty much the same thing. Obviously, they do it with yeah, ballrooms or funny enough, even arcades.
I mean, in terms of venues, I don't know how gamer base is funny, man. I'm not sure how long HMV might stay open. So
that's the black cloud that is definitely hanging over everything.
You never know though. Something might happen, but I understand in the news that HMV are having a bit of problems. So I don't know. I don't know where that might go. But in terms of venue is probably the biggest concern I have, because
that is definitely
literally
the massive concern.
I'm always having to balance things between what they want and what the players need, and I think it is a hassle. If you want my honest advice actually about venues, it's just like, just try to be, try to organise as much as you can with them and be as sort of forthright with them as you can, because venues, I think, they're what happens with tournaments. That's what you need, I suppose, a venue and equipment. So I think that is the main problem. To be honest, to be sitting here, a lot of people will talk to me about, oh yeah, and what do you think about this, that, or the other, or like the turnout, and that's what they care about. If 3 people came, I'm happy, because to be honest, what's more important to me is to sort of run a coherent sort of event where it all sort of hangs together, it's planned out well, that's fine. Well, people can come after that. I'd rather have 3 people come to something that's well done than 60 people come to something that is terrible. So my focus is always going to be on sort of like the actual thing rather than getting it out there. But I think that will change as the thing becomes more automated. So as it is now, I'm seriously regretting not having, shouted from the rooftops, hey, look, this is coming, because, it is running quite smoothly. But then again as well, I can say that with 10 teams. If like 20 teams turned up, I'd have a problem. Massive problem actually. So I mean, especially if like I'm really short staffed, so it's sort of a balancing act really that you sort of find yourself doing in that. But I mean, yeah, I don't think there's much to it, tournaments like running. I don't think it's it's like gaming really, you know what I mean? Just keep doing it. Like everyone says, oh, how do I become a better player? Play.
Gotcha.
Don't sit on YouTube, just play.
Gotcha, but it does surprise me how the community will always come out forward. There'll be people that are always saying, oh, you haven't got enough setups, I'll bring our setups. Or you haven't got enough displays, they'll bring their displays.
I think that's one thing that annoys me actually in terms of this, I hate using that word scene, but what's going on now where, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. You've got so many people, there's so much equipment, you've got all these people with like streaming equipment, and like no one can sort of bring it all together. I think like next week there's going to be another Tekken tournament.
Gotcha.
And they're going to be doing exactly the same thing what we're doing here.
Okay.
That is frustrating to me, because it's like there's a doubling up of resources there, which doesn't necessarily need to happen. Just because it's a different skin. I mean, that's sad actually.
Gotcha. Obviously we could get into the whole micro politics, but let's just keep on focus about the actual organization and stuff like that. But
yeah, I think the politics scares me.
Because well, it's always been, but like that's not the important thing. I think as long as people get to play games and all that.
I think the politics will come into it later.
Gotcha. If
things go a certain way, and you can sort of. It only takes a few smart people to do some things. Like 1 second, it takes a few people to push a few buttons, and things change quite quickly. But as it stands now, I mean, I'm enjoying playing games again. Like I've literally just come back to playing games. I was away doing all sorts of things for a while. I'm back in it now, and I enjoy it. As for tournament organising, it's something that I'd rather not do. I'd rather be here playing. I'd rather just have my stick under my arm.
Gotcha.
Just wander around in my arcade stick and just. You know what I mean? Just playing games, but I mean, it's something I find myself doing, and it can be quite pleasurable.
I got you. To be honest, it's almost the same with me. I would rather be a games player. I would rather.
But you are a games player, though. I
am. Yeah, I am a games player, but well, obviously, circumstances have brought me to streaming. I'm not. I probably will address this in a vlog of some sort later. The whole detail of how I got here, but yeah.
I think everyone's got to play. I mean,
but it's a case of, I don't know. It's a case of I'm doing my bit, as it were, to sort of help the scene, and because like I said, I personally believe that I would love there to be a ready-made scene. I would love it to be 1999 again, where I could just walk into an arcade, have some pound coins, and have some GGs.
Oh look, if Wonder Park was still open, there's no way in hell I'd be sitting there doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be in the Wonder Park, and I would not care about tournaments. I wouldn't care about streaming. I wouldn't
Same
care.
here.
So I would just be playing games, and that would be me. I mean, I literally would not care. And I think that was probably the sort of place where you wanted to go, just a place where you can play again. Because I think that's what we've been deprived about. Like, even when you come into these places, you see like the way people look at their games players. It's almost like, oh, they're games players. It's like, and these are young people just looking to do things. I mean, I think that's just, it's quite harsh when you see that and you think to yourself, people just want to play games, man, let them play. So it's I think that's why I like to see the direction in, because just somewhere to play. I don't think online's good, but I don't think online's the end of the rainbow.
No, let's not go there. I think online is, well, when it works, it's okay. And some people say it's as if they're right next to you, and I have to say, no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it can be good at some points, but I agree, it's not the same. So, I mean, that's kind of how I see things going. But in terms of the direction, I really hope there is a place to play again, you know? Because I don't, other than, well, I think there's one in France called In Nation, but that's a decent little arcade in that. But other than that, I mean, there's just nowhere to go. There's the Hog. There is the Hog, of course. That is a good place to go.
Shout outs to Firebug's Heart of Gaming.
That is the Hog, and I think that is the beginning of something very interesting. And hopefully it will grow into something that will be like really cool. I hope it does, actually, because that would be a nice direction for it to go. But we'll have to wait and see how that sort of develops. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely been deprived of a home. I would say that.
Okay. Again, like I said, it's a case of okay. I'm just going to say my own piece. Part of the reason why I do it is literally because the scene isn't going to make itself. I'm going to help promote it, and then obviously hope through there'll be growth, and then from that we can carry on playing.
Yeah, I think,
because let's face it, the whole point of especially our business, it's competitive fighting games, i.e. you need somebody else to play.
I agree with that, but I think for me it's not so much the competition, it's the development. For me, I like the sort of learning and doing new things. The competition inspires that development, but I think for me the heart of it is the development of playing. Like, I'm happy to play a shoot 'em up where every day I'm getting a little bit further into the game. It's that little feeling of, you're getting better. It's the same reason why a lot of the players here, they don't only play fighting games. A lot of them play Metal Gear. A lot of them play very difficult 8-bit games. But it's just that little bit of, it's that development.
Difficult 8-bit games, as in I want to be the guy.
Yeah, but it's just like, it is just, you know what I mean? Like, they want to play because they develop a little bit each time. And I think competition inspires development very quickly. But it's the same, when you dig through the competition, that's where it gets. So I'm happy not fighting humans as long as I'm developing. If there was like a guy online that was finding combos and doing stuff, and I could say, right, then yeah, let me see if I can find more combos, I'd be happy doing that as well. But competition is good. It brings out good things, but it can bring out some negative things as well, as you've seen at some of these tournaments.
Yeah, let's avoid that subject. That's probably something else. That's probably something else another day. So, well, probably just to wrap it up, because I think we've said all the main pieces. So, you're gonna carry on organising some stuff for a while.
I think I'll be around for a while. It's a bit of a blood pact I've made, so I only get out of it through death or release from my bondage.
Yeah, like I said, you've established a fine array and collection, and I'm actually loafing off one of your pieces of equipment that actually makes this watching of the stream possible at the moment.
Oh, what's that? The HD Fury?
Yeah.
150 quid worth of.
Yeah, for something that only has one. Yeah, that only has one function. Yeah,
but it wasn't doing any function sitting on my floor, so.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the brethren, Electronic Dojo. Yeah, Xavier, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Shout out to those guys, the Electronic Dojo people, our brothers from the Midlands.
Well, that thing wasn't doing any good sitting on my floor, so hopefully you're putting it to good use. Streaming's very expensive, man.
Yeah, I could definitely. Again, I'll probably address this in my own sort of vlog or stuff like that. But
I don't think people realise the sort of work that goes into this. Like, literally, I think
it's work. It is the term work is very good.
Yeah,
work.
I mean, from maybe 2 weeks ago, I was having to pack stuff, and I've got to disembark all this stuff and put it in the right boxes for next month, and make sure all the venue's cool with it again. And there's so much running around, and there's so many events going on, and of course I go to Paris tomorrow. So I mean, I've got to do that and go away for 8 days and come back, and it's a lot to do. But I'm not gonna. I don't think it's something to complain about. I think it's. I won't say it's fun, but it's satisfying when it goes well. And I think we've been very fortunate at this event where we haven't had too many hitches. I mean, in terms of running, it's gone very smoothly. Like, I mean, and it's finishing early and stuff, and
Yeah.
No, I'll probably be sitting at home before midnight, hopefully. Yeah, easily, and it's fine. So I mean, I enjoy it. I hope more stuff like this happens. It's incredibly difficult to do, but I think with more people coming into it and you can divvy up the jobs and stuff, things will change. So I think, yeah, it's good stuff what you're doing as well. I mean,
oh yeah, thanks.
Streaming's a thankless task.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I'll probably address it myself. It's a case of, yeah, it's the term work, and obviously it's well, yeah, you know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you have to be on top of it. And yeah, I'll freely admit I have not been on top of it most of the time, because literally there are so many pieces that, yeah, you have to keep an eye on. Like, you know, even something as simple as the microphone button being turned on, which in this case is, yeah, XPlayer's got a funny thing where you can obviously hook up a microphone to the laptop, but obviously the audio, as you're hearing right now, is hooked up to the HD PVR. Why, you may ask? Because obviously the HD PVR is a second behind. If I hooked up the microphone as I've done before in the past, you'll hear the audio in real time, and thus you'll cause something called the echo.
I mean, I think, yeah, like, a lot of people want to do it. I think at its height, it is a pretty silent job as well. Like, I mean, I think when you get into, like, properly doing big streams, if you want to go that way, you'll find that you will not be even heard on the streams. You're just going to be sitting there pressing buttons. It's going to
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be the man in the dark. Like the Mission Impossible, the old series where they had the man underneath the planks doing stuff. He's usually the black man, by the way. He's there under the planks. He was always doing like the wiring and stuff. That's probably what a streamer's going to end up doing. So it's pretty hard work, I think. So yeah.
Okay then. Well, anyway, thanks for your time, Mr. Grey Fox, and like I said, again, big shout out for lending me that vital piece of equipment that makes literally watching your screen right now possible. Anytime, mate, anytime. Okay then. Thanks, bro.
Really, really nice to do your thing, man. I hope your stuff goes well now, okay?
Gotcha, man.
Take care, man.
Cool. Okay, guys, that wraps the stream up. Again, thanks for watching, and anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys later. And like I said, next month there's going to obviously be the next Snake Pit with the team from France, and obviously the proper 6v6. Anyway, guys, catch you guys later.